Hey, good evening, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea. This is the Two Old Bucks, episode 199, another milestone. And this is Old Buck Dell, and with me is
Well, Buck Dave,
Old Buck Dave. Old Buck Dave. Hey, he's on assignment.
still on assignment in Europe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
still on
yeah,
assignment
yeah.
in Europe. I'm going to ask him to give us an update on that and what adventures he was on. So
Okay,
go ahead, Dave.
think.
I'll turn this over to you.
All
What's
right.
happening?
Hey, good to talk to you again. Here's a little travel log. It's nothing really scary or bizarre happened, unfortunately or fortunately, I guess. But we took the flight from Frankfurt to Gothenburg, Sweden. Got a real wet start in Gothenburg. It was raining like a champ there. And at the airport, we got on the bus, and I knew it was the third stop was the stop that I wanted to get off in the town. So we came to the third stop, and it was like, this isn't the name of the stop. Did I miss a stop, or what happened? And so I ran up to the driver, and he says, oh yeah, this is the right stop, but we can't get over there because of construction, so you have to get off here. It's like, okay. So we got off in the rain, opened our suitcases and put our rain jackets on. It was funny. And we walked a couple blocks. We found a restaurant. So we decided just to eat there. We hadn't eaten and dried off in there. Had a nice chat with the waitress in there. Gothenburg is a real interesting city. It's got canals. They call it the Venice of the North. Interestingly, it was built on sand, okay? Built on a sandbog, basically. And they got help from engineers in the Netherlands to help build the town, figure out how to build the town. So they have to drive pilings like 80 meters into the sand for buildings to be mounted on, okay? It was like, it makes you wonder, like, why did they bother, But, for the most part, it works, although there are a couple of buildings that you can see that have visibly sunk. All right. Like one end of them is, they're not level anymore. They're kind of the one end of them is sinking down. And that's because of they had used wooden pilings back then, and they rotted and da da da. So it's now shored up. They're not sinking anymore, but they're not level either. So it's kind of an interesting look for those old buildings. More recently, they have a big concert hall there, and they had record attendance at a Bruce Springsteen concert, and there was so much jumping up and down that it damaged the stadium. They did have a little, like, partial, like a little bit of settling, and they had to shut the thing down for a long time to fix it. So they had a big, massive fix to do that. But it's a real nice city. It's easy to get around. The food's reasonably priced. Sweden is not nearly as expensive as you used to think it being. Never had a bad meal. Everything was really good there.
The way you're describing this, it almost sounds like all the stuff that we put on the planet is pretty much temporary. considering, when you start, it's like, why didn't we move the city if it's already on sand? Let's move it back a couple miles away or something. So, no, we'll just keep shoring it up until it
just keep
sounds like
shoring it up.
Venice,
Yeah,
Italy
yeah,
or something.
yeah. We did a nice canal boat ride. Had a nice guide, and she kept making fun of the Danes, and she'd say, well, why? Because one of the things I showed was there's a big ferry boat, a car ferry boat that goes to Copenhagen. So she says, why would anybody want to go to Denmark anyway? She says, well, they have cheap beer. Can't think of any other reason to go to Denmark. Of course, when we got to Denmark, the Danes were knocking on the Swedes. So
little friendly country rivalries there.
Yeah, over the years they've attacked each other back and forth over the years. So yeah. Then let's see what happened next. Oh yeah, our hotel. It was just a 4-minute walk to the train station. Nice hotel, by the way. It was kind of another old world hotel with a lot of interesting spins about it.
Did you take a chance when you picked that deliberately? Did you take a chance on that? I mean,
Well, I picked it because it was it was in the old town. It was close to the train station,
There you go.
and it seemed nice.
And
It
met
seemed,
your criteria of
met the criteria.
travel. It
Oh,
happened to be nice.
yeah, I mean, we got lucky. Every hotel that we've used has exceeded our expectations. Really, they've all been different. Two of them were ultra modern, and we had one was kind of old school, and then we had another old school here. But
Do you Google the interior of those? I mean, there's a lot of
well,
pictures on
yeah, I
those when
mean,
you choose that.
I look at everything, yeah, as much as I can. The one that we just I'm going to get ahead of myself here, but the one we just left in Copenhagen was just so really nice and comfortable. Had a lot of indoor and outdoor sitting areas with lots of tables and couches and that sort of thing. It was
You
nice. It was nice.
you really come quite adept at choosing those things. I picked one. Remember, I told you a story about the
Oh
one I
yeah,
picked by a picture.
yeah.
It was a disaster. It was
Didn't
a
live up to the
disaster.
picture. Huh?
I was doomed by the entryway picture, which must have been taken in 1964 when it was new or
Oh
something.
boy.
So, well, anyhow, you had
Yeah.
a
Well, yeah.
lovely
So
time there, and you were about ready to
yes.
go.
Then we went to Copenhagen on the train. It was a 4 hour train ride. Now the train was overbooked. Okay, there were more people than there were seats. Fortunately, by this time I was a little bit train savvy, and I say, we're going to horse in there right away and grab seats, and that's going to be it. And we did. So some people stood almost the whole way until some people started getting out at intermediate stops there. And as we got on the train, I said to my wife, I said, that's the one thing they tell you. You have to be alert for pickpockets in the train stations. And she said, my sweater's gone. Somebody heisted her sweater. We were in a little convenience store inside the train station there in Gothenburg, and she had it sitting on her luggage, on her roller bag,
Mm.
and hadn't realized, got on the train. It's like, uh-oh, my sweater's not here anymore. So that's the only kind of negative thing that we've had the whole time, and that was not a big deal. We got to Copenhagen, and we also walked to this hotel. This hotel was a little bit longer than I expected. It took us a half hour or so to get there, and we were starting to get a little worried there because the route that it took us on was, busy major roads, noisy, dirty. We'd say, uh-oh, has our luck run out here? But we checked into the hotel and went out the side door, and son of a gun, where it's like one of the main pedestrian streets into town. So it was great. It was great. It was again
Pedestrian friendly, you mean?
pedestrian friendly, mainly cycling friendly. They have
Ah.
that is like the cycling capital of the world. Apparently, they have two bicycles for every person. They have more bikes than cars, and believe me, everybody is using their bikes. You better not step off the curb without looking, because that bike lane, if the bikes have the green light, you're dog meat. They're rolling, and it's masses of them. It's like a Tour de France peloton. It just never ends.
Sounds like
Unbelievable.
you have died and gone to heaven there.
Oh man.
When the streets are full of bikes and you have to dodge them like bees or
Yeah.
something. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was we did a lot of walking around the city. Uh, we did a hop on hop off bus, saw a lot of things, and we did a canal ride, which saw more things, saw kind of some of the same things from a different viewpoint. Uh, it was nice. It was really
You know,
Copenhagen, I'd have to say, was my favorite city of the trip. We could have spent another couple days there for sure.
you know what I gotta say? I admire you doing this, let's say at this time of your life, because you probably will at least have this memory till the end of your life. I would say
Or at least till the end of my memory, yeah, of my
well,
life,
or whatever comes first.
whichever comes first.
If you have your memory to the end, or you lose your memory before the end, whatever it is. But I remember many years ago, I believe I was in Copenhagen, but I was just not. I just don't have hardly any memory of that at all. I mean,
Really?
yeah, it's
Wow.
absolutely strange. We went through that. I remember being on the trains, and all that stuff. And it was four of us. We were probably just in our early 20s, if that. So so it just didn't leave an impression for me. But anyhow, I have a head full of memories, and some I have to push out, I guess. I don't know what to tell you. So after that, you left, and then you headed back to Germany, I take it?
Well, we let's see, what did we do? We went to a nice art museum. I think it's called the Glyptothek, something like that. I wanted to go there because they had some French Impressionists there, which I really want to see. And they had a pretty nice Rodin collection. He's the sculptor.
The Thinker?
Yeah, yes, the guy that did the Thinker. Yes, absolutely.
How about that? Well, Buckdale knew that.
You're okay. Well, this museum is basically the collection of the second generation of the Carlsberg beer family. Okay, Carlsberg beer is located. It's
I have drunk Carlsberg beer.
Yeah. Well, apparently a lot of other people have, because this is I couldn't believe the size of this collection, and it took a huge building to house all this. It's dazzling. It's dazzling how big it is and how it's laid out. We saw 2000 BC Egyptian mummies, lots of Roman sculptures. I mean, just covered everything. It was just amazing, really. And it was all funded by beer. It's all funded by beer. Yeah.
Go figure, huh?
Yeah. Hey, we saw the Little Mermaid. The Little Mermaid.
Oh yeah.
Talk about our tour guide said, and now we're coming up on the second most disappointing tourist attraction in Europe. The Little Mermaid.
The Little Mermaid, yeah.
Because
it's just 3 feet tall on a rock.
Yeah, on a rock, out in the middle of nowhere. Yeah. So you may ask, what did he decide was the most disappointing tourist attraction in Europe? That's the mannequin piss statue in Brussels, and it's a chubby little kid peeing, and it's even smaller than Little Mermaid. Hey, I did 20,000 steps yesterday.
Wow.
20,000 steps. That's a lot of walking.
That's a lot of walking.
A lot of walking. Yeah.
The legs held up, huh?
Well, I don't know. I'm aching here and there, but that's kind of normal anyway. But we had to get up real early today. I got up about 5:45 for an early flight to Frankfurt, get a breakfast. So I figured out how to use the subway. So we were going to the subway to take the subway train to the airport. And just as we were getting close to it, there was a bus stop there, and it said airport. So what the heck? Here's the bus. I don't have to go down any stairs or anything. We'll just get on the bus. So we get on it, and I said, he says, cash only. Now, this is the first time anybody asked for cash in either Sweden or Denmark. I did not have to get foreign currency in either of those two countries. You can pay for a pack of gum with a credit card. And that's what everybody does. And here's our last transaction in Denmark, and it's need cash. So we took the subway after all, which worked out just fine. And it was a nice, easy ride to the airport. It's like a 20-minute ride on the subway.
Which you could use your credit card on, obviously.
Yeah. Here's the other interesting thing is on the ride, we got audited. A guy came around, randomly checking tickets, because you can get on without a ticket. And it's the first time I got audited. If you get nailed in one of these audits, you get to pay a pretty decent fine. But fortunately, we did it right. And we're back in Frankfurt now. Took the flight down to Frankfurt Flughafen, and Linda picked us up there, and we're back at her place here up in the mountains. So that's the way. Anyway, so my trip's just about at an end. We're going to do this a couple more days, and then headed back to US of A. So there you have it.
Where I will look forward to getting the finer details over coffee.
Oh yeah. You'll get the special report. Yeah.
So you're probably asking me what I've been doing.
What have you been doing? Yeah.
Well, I suppose the major thing would be the storm. But before we talk about that, which is, I don't know, it's one of those things you have to experience. Have you been paying attention to the Olympics while you're over there?
Fortunately, I have. Unfortunately, none of the commentators are speaking English, but you really don't need that. In fact, in Denmark here, the last country we were in, the Olympics were always on in two and sometimes three channels, different events. So it was really nice. So I got to see a lot. I got to see a lot.
Well,
Either.
it's interesting you say that while you were not able to understand the commentary. I have to turn the sound off when I'm talking to my wife anyhow. So I know.
There you
So
go.
I mean,
Same
a
thing.
race is a race. I mean, all that other stuff. The guy starts, you can see him run, you know who crosses the line. So
Hmm.
that kind of thing. But there was just so many different activities that I didn't know were Olympic worthy. You know what I
Stuff
mean?
you
So
never knew was this is a
yeah,
sport. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah. Some of those things I would have never thought would have generated enough worldwide team effort, so to speak, or to get the team from so many countries to play. Um, I just
Well,
happened to look at some field hockey, and I mean, I know basically what that is, but I thought that maybe it was a college sport or something. They just putzed around with it. But these are grown men
they're
running
whacking
around
away.
in a
Yeah.
big field with
Yeah.
the sticks.
Yeah.
And then I happened to catch, well, I just a little bit because I was jumping around. I caught a little bit about the ping pong.
Hmm.
Did you see any of that?
I did not get to see any ping pong.
How
No.
they serve and what they do. It's like just a couple little bing bong boom. Then about the third or fourth shot, they're banging the ball like crazy. It doesn't take long before a point is scored. So I said,
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting." And then I was looking at I thought archery was interesting, and I knew that was a sport, but I mean, I was just like the effort that and equipment and uh, that shooting. Yeah, the shooting. Like these guys look like cyborgs or something. I
The
think I
air
saw an
pistols.
article.
The air
All that,
pistols.
yeah.
I thought that was fascinating where they're wearing all those shields to cover the other eye, and then they have a little kind of an ocular thing that cuts down the light in the eye that they're looking at, so that they can focus on both the target and both the 2 points on the pistol the 2 points they have to line up with the target. So it was fascinating. Reading the science
Yeah.
behind that was just fascinating. And
So
yeah, they do look like cyborgs of some sort. Yeah.
yeah, so all this stuff is going on. So I was paying a little bit of attention to that. Sometimes I would catch the events have been over. It was easier to watch it, you know, my
Hmm.
time in the evening, and the winner had already been determined, but I didn't. I still sat through those things. So that was all fascinating, pretty good.
Hey, did you see Mondo, the Swedish guy, set the world record in the pole vault? We got to watch that live. That was a hoot. That was
What was his last name?
something like Duplantis or
Yes,
something like that.
Duplantis. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah,
Hey,
his father's Texan, by the way. Yeah.
all I could tell you is I watched that. That that was incredible. He was almost vertical with that pole throwing him up
I think
over that
that
bar.
is the most fascinating, interesting sport is pole vault. You have to do so many things right. It's
Yeah, you stick a
it's
pole, you run like crazy, you stick a pole in a slot.
mm-hmm,
The pole then bends back, or you jump
mm-hmm,
up somehow. You get that equilibrium of bent, and the pole flings you over that
yeah.
bar. And he did it. He went straight up over that, and then he turned over. And I said, "My God, just a beautiful thing to watch." But he didn't set the record for some reason.
No, he did. He broke the world record.
Well, he was going for another record, and I saw him hit the bar.
No, he broke the world record.
Did he?
He's got the new yeah on his third try.
Oh,
On
he
his
did that. Okay, so I gave up on the first try.
you gave up too soon. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, so he
Yeah.
did break it. I mean, it
And
was beautiful, beautiful thing to
yeah.
watch.
And the US guy was like his cheerleader. He's like,
Yeah.
getting him
Telling the
fired up and
crowd to
everything.
stay quiet or
Yeah, so it
something.
was good to see. Yeah, it was good to see that. It was a lot of I think that's just the most fascinating sport. Yeah. How about the hammer throw? Did you get to watch the hammer
I
throw?
watched a little bit of that, and
I was David Crosby from Canada won the hammer throw. That guy looks like a young David Crosby. I forget his name, but oh boy, that
you know
was
when I watch that, you know what I think? I said, what if he lets that thing go an instant too soon? And that's why he's in that cage, obviously.
That's why he's in the cage. Yeah. I could do a lot
I
of
mean,
damage.
you get 10 of those guys, they could be thrown, they could be like field artillery, you know. I
Oh
mean,
man, yeah. So that was a hoot.
that was a hoot. Okay.
Hey, oh, and we talked about the 3-on-3 basketball last time, and Germany persisted. The women, the German women, got the gold medal in 3-on-3 basketball. So
How is that
good for
possible?
Germany.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's a sport we invented too. I'll be
Yeah.
darned.
And I don't know if you watched the U.S. men last night in the semifinal. They just about lost to Serbia. They had to they were down like, I don't know, 12 points or so. They were down 15 or 16 points at one time, I
That,
think.
that didn't surprise me because a lot of the Serbs play, I think, on professional teams. They're
Yeah, oh
big,
yeah,
big,
yeah.
tall
Those
people.
were NBA guys too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're big, tall people. So it wasn't like they didn't know how to play. So
Yeah, and I get to watch a lot of track events, the cycling events on the track as opposed to the road events. I think that the track events are. I mean, it's a lot easier to watch a track event because something's happening all the time compared to a road event. And I love the sprint. That's where the one cyclist is up against the other, and they start off real slow, and they creeping, and they run up, and they run down the boards, and then that's the sport where you want to be in second for most of the time.
because of
So,
the wind.
well, yeah, and yeah, the guy in front's got to watch you, and he's got to figure out what you're doing, and he's got to react to you. And yeah, I used to watch that at the when I had the bike shop back in Reading, back before when dirt was new, and there was a velodrome in Trexlertown, which was built by it was the Natural Foods family. I forget their name. But yeah, I used to go up there every weekend and watch that, and it was just fascinating. The guy called it a high-speed chess match. I think that pretty much describes it. Yeah.
And that the equipment is also specialized too, and it's
Oh yeah,
like
yeah.
there's
It's all
no brakes or
specialized.
something. What is it? It's real,
Yeah.
real lean bike that
Yeah.
those guys go
Yeah.
on. So.
Hey, but enough Olympics. How's the weather? How's the weather in Florida?
Oh, great segue. Well, as I was alluding to earlier, there was a tropical depression, and you did send me a note and say how how you doing, and I said not to worry. This is a tropical depression, a little bit of rain, a little gusty wind.
Nothing's gonna
Should
happen. Yeah.
should blow by in a day or so. But this thing turned out to be a real wet storm. It looked to me like it was just dragging the water off of the Gulf of Mexico over the
Hmm.
state, and there was a rain band over our area constantly. It'd be like 15 minutes of just buckets of water, and then about 3 minutes it would sprinkle. Then 20 minutes later, it'd be 15 minutes of buckets of water. And it just did that constantly. And what we found out was the normal drainage systems that have been in place for years that always managed to cope with storm just could not do it.
Couldn't do it this time.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
registered almost 15 inches of water. So every pond, everything that relies on natural seepage, I should say,
Mm-hmm.
to cope. Those guys, they all peaked out, and they have to run someplace. And my own dwelling is sort of a little bit on the hill, but we feed into another system. But there is a whole community that's in a low area where it finally makes its way to the sea. In the meantime, the wind is blowing the water from the ocean or from the Gulf and holding it there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's spinning around out there and pushing the water back at you. So there's just nowhere for it to go. And a lot of people had water in the house that never in their wildest dreams thought they would need flood insurance. It was a
That's
terrible storm all the way
uh,
up the coast.
yeah, that's what
America
I
took a
heard.
beating on this one.
I saw some areas around Sarasota got as much as 20 inches. 20
Um,
inches. Uh,
they
uh,
were it was widespread, but some of it was heavy at pockets. And
yeah, in
I think
pockets.
the
Yeah, yeah,
actual
yeah, yeah.
downtown Sarasota, and again, there's no, even though the main street of that town in Sarasota is above the bay, substantially above the bay,
Mm-hmm.
there's areas where it just lays. It can't get it down the
Yeah.
drains fast enough. All in all, it was kind of a nerve-wracking thing between the gust and the rain, and I just I'm not coping well with that stuff anymore. And I guess there's more stuff brewing out in the
Like, yeah,
Caribbean.
another one out there. Yeah, a couple of my neighbors were sending me
Yeah.
pictures and videos, and like, I can't believe this. You know that dock that we have along the Braden River, which is, I don't
Yeah.
know, 10 foot above the river or so.
You showed me a picture of that,
The
how high
water
that was.
the water was lapping over the top of that dock. I mean, that's just unbelievable. They said it was about 2 feet from coming into our ponds, and the drainage thing that we have in the pond, where the water in the pond is supposed to drain into the river, did not work.
That's because it was the same height as the river.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's exactly. So,
Mm-hmm.
but you didn't have any water damage in your area, did
I
you?
don't. Well, I don't. of course, we haven't been there. So I don't know. I
So
think
that
we're okay.
that crocodile that used to live in the pond is
Yeah,
probably living in
he's in my
your
bathroom
patio
now.
now.
Yeah, yeah. We'll find out when we get home. Anyway,
Certainly so.
geez.
Hey, talking about storms in our neck of the woods down here in Florida, there's something unique to Florida that I don't think I've heard it anyplace else. But
Is that Florida man?
no, no. Well,
No,
that's
something else.
one thing. This is
That's what.
something I
This
thought
is
was
something
interesting.
else.
It caught
Okay.
my eye. It's just been in the local newspaper several times, and that is something that I think we should be involved in. I think two old bucks should somehow at least participate in this particular event. It's an annual event uh, once a year, and I thought we should organize ourselves to do this. And it's called the Florida Python Challenge.
Oh, the floor. Oh,
And to people around the world, what that means is,
tell him more. Yeah, tell him
yeah, we've
more.
we've got these. They let these snakes loose, and over years they've managed to do very well in our climate and in the water. And the pythons can grow up to 19 to 20 feet, I suppose. I don't know if there was a 20-footer, but I know there was several 19-footers. I mean, these things eat everything, and
They're
so they're
wiping out all the small game,
yeah. I mean,
rabbits, birds. I
our
mean,
our native creatures don't even know what they are. They think they're a log or something. They walk by, and the next thing you know, they're
their
chow.
lunch. Yeah.
Yeah. So you can sign up for this, and you have to meet some criteria. And if you catch the most of them, well, what's funny to me about this is, as a young man, as a hunter, I mean, I had the distinct advantage over my prey by having a very expensive telescope mounted on a long rifle that
Oh,
I only needed to be 300 yards away from them to sort of hunt that way. But looks like these guys, you can't do that. You can't walk up with a shotgun and blow them apart. You have to actually catch them, and and believe it or not, you have to kill them in a humane way. But do you imagine? I just said, "Oh, well,
geez.
I'm just going to go over and grab that 15-foot python and hold on to it," and so I don't know if the two old bucks could. I mean, we could have a lot of laughs trying, but I don't know if I did see one. I would probably ask you, say, why
Yeah,
don't you grab them
that's
first or
yours,
something?
Dave. Yeah. Thanks. Thanks. Of course, this is doing a lot to reduce the population of them, right?
I don't know. It seems like they find every year that everybody catches lots and lots of them, but doesn't
And there are
seem to.
lots and lots more. Yeah, it doesn't
Yeah, it doesn't
seem.
seem to slow them down either.
Yeah.
Hey,
All
but
right. So it's the
there,
Python challenge.
yeah, the
Okay.
Python challenge. That's something.
Ay, ay,
But
ay.
on a to challenge myself too, I just thought I'd mention. For some reason, I said, I need to keep improving my eye-hand coordination or something. As you get older, you tend to turn a corner a little bit too sharp, and there's just if you're an old buck, you know what I'm talking about. So there's just things that happen. I say, I should do something. I mean, I can still ride a bike, but I don't
Mm-hmm.
ride as like you do. But it's still, I can balance myself and do that at our age. I said I need to do something else. So I said, I think I should take up juggling.
Juggling. There you go.
Yeah,
There you go.
I said that ought to improve my coordination and that kind of thing. So my challenge was to find something in the house readily available to juggle, and I didn't have a lot of like tennis balls or nothing around. Like,
Uh-huh.
although I don't know if I could juggle something as small as a golf ball. I mean, I don't have
Mhm.
that kind of skill. So I ended up with toilet paper rolls, and I found that I said, let me start with toilet paper rolls. They're big enough, and so far I'm doing pretty good with two of them.
You're juggling two toilet paper roll. You won't get hurt that way, I guess. Yeah, you're right.
I don't break anything.
Don't break anything.
I'm trying. No, I'll challenge you.
You're
I'll
going to work your
challenge you
way
to
up
that.
to 3 rolls? Or?
I'm going to try. I have, but in
Oh.
order to do that, I'll have to be able to throw it higher than the ceiling. So I might have to do it out in the porch or something, or somewhere where there's more room.
Okay. I like it.
You know, there's the ability to just throw that one from one hand to the next, and the other hand just to flip it over.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you think you're good, try that. So
Yeah. Oh, I got a quick juggling story to tell you. This my younger son, when he was probably I don't know, 12 or 13, maybe something like that, and he kind of took up juggling, and he learned. He taught himself.
Mhm.
I don't know if he watched. I don't know if they had videos or what, but anyway, so he was decent. He was okay, and we went to the mall one day, and there was a juggler there. Okay, so this guy's doing his thing, and of course, my he's a wise guy anyway. He said, "I could do that," and this guy says, "Oh, you could?" He says, "Yeah, it doesn't look that hard." So he gives him the balls, and he says, "Here, kid, do it." And he proceeds to go into a nice juggling routine. The guy got ticked off. He took the ball. That's enough, kid. That's enough.
You ruined my act, boy. Go
Ruined
away.
my
You
act.
bother me.
Yeah. That's my juggling. That's my juggling story.
And that's interesting. Does he still do that? Do you ever see him do that
No,
again?
he does. No, I don't believe he does it anymore. It was a fad. It was a fad. Yeah.
So it's a skill you acquire, but obviously have to stay with. Otherwise,
Got to stay with it. Yeah.
it would fade away.
Yeah.
So that's about all I got, except for the fact that the heat is a bit oppressive, and I'm just being careful with not dehydrating
Yeah.
myself. Otherwise, I'm fine. You know, no, like I said, no doctor's appointments this month or something. You know, usually there's a list of things to do like that, but no, this old buck is hanging in there.
All right. Well, this one is too. Looking forward to coming up on the big 200 next week. So we have to do something special there. I don't know what it's going to be.
It will be special.
It will be special.
It will be special. Give all of our listeners and pass this on. Say, if you don't listen to any of them, listen to the 200 episode. That's a milestone that we're really, really proud to have reached. So I take it it's time for us to say goodbye.
So I will say goodbye. Good talking to you. Talk to everybody next week.
Yeah. This is Old Buck Dale saying thank you for listening. It's always fun. We'll talk to you next time.
Bye-bye.